keep hearing about the labor shortage, people quitting their jobs, but very rarely do we actually hear from the workers themselves. And recently there was a TikTok video that went viral featuring workers at a Wendy's. So this video starts off with a specific worker explaining what happened a few months after the pandemic began, when he was basically tasked with running the whole place on his own. Let's watch.
So how this happened at my Wendy's. So I'm not gonna tell you all the boring that led up to this, but basically what had happened was COVID happened, a couple months went by, everyone realized how it was, and everyone quit. I lost my AGM, my GM, and about 6 shift managers. I was a shift manager at the time, and after they all quit, I got promoted to an AGM. I had no GM for about 3 months, and I was working 85 hours a week, every week with no day off, basically them whole 3 months. And I made $14.77 as an AGM, keeping this store up and running.
Okay, so there's a lot of information there that I think is worth emphasizing, okay? So there's a labor shortage, especially in the service sector, right? And the remaining workers are, first of all, in many cases, expected to work insanely long hours. As he mentions, he's working 85 hours a week, only making $14.77 an hour while doing this job, right? Again, 85 hours a week. And so when you see the stories about people quitting their jobs, I mean, I just feel like that context is always missing. How the remaining workers are doing mandatory overtime. A lot of these companies and corporations have made moves to do away with overtime pay. Remember, you're supposed to make more money for every additional hour you work past 8 hours. And so I think that this is really enlightening. I mean, there's more to the video that we'll get to in just a second, but did you want to jump in, Cenk?
Yeah, I mean, look, he got into a significant managerial role after all the managers above him quit. And he still didn't get to $15 an hour.
It's amazing.
Right? And so, look, we live in a weird world where there's some relatively wealthy millennials at like high-end companies that
the crypto traders.
Yeah, and they're like on the opposite end of the spectrum where they feel super entitled to everything. And they're like, oh my God, my boss disagreed with me. I feel like that's discrimination against me. No, that's just that person being your boss, right? But in the real world, the overwhelming majority of millennials are in this situation where they're working their ass off 85 hours a day at Wendy's, and their management treats them like absolute crap and just brutalizes them. That's why when I see Biden saying, oh, millennials have it easy, and I see all these people that are in power talking crap about millennials, yes, some portion of them, because that entitlement complex deserve it, but it's largely the people that other wealthy older folks have interaction with. They don't have interaction with the great majority of millennials who work at Wendy's and other tough jobs and are treated so poorly. So hence, when workers do that, and it's basically a revolt and a takeover, it's kind of badass. And if that happened in a lot of places, I think management would be freaked out going, wait a minute, we actually need these people to run the stores. What if they just stop?
Right, exactly. So now let's get to what happens at this Wendy's once new individuals are hired.
I eventually got a new GM. She came in and completely ruined this place within 2 weeks. The 34 people that I had on my schedule all basically wanted to quit, and I was just tired of it. No upper management helped me at all throughout those 3 months I was by myself. I did it all alone. And one day I just came in and I said I've had enough and I couldn't do it anymore. So I told everyone, and about me and 17 other people quit that day. We didn't clean up. We closed down about 8 o'clock at night. We made a little taco bar and we left it a mess.
Damn, taco bar sounds awesome. So they quit. I also want to just note, in regard to the 85 hours he was working per week, let's see how other countries treat that type of long working day or long working week. 85 hours a week is almost literally double the legal limit in Denmark. America's work market is out of a dystopian sci-fi novel. That's what was written on TikTok in response to this video. And it's true. I mean, there are certainly better labor protections in a lot of these other European countries, especially Nordic countries. And it's because their labor is organized and they have way more power than workers have here.
But there's another giant part of that equation, which is that the pay is way better in Denmark. And so that's why they don't have to work 85 hours. Here, the pay is so low that just to get by, you gotta work 85 hours, right? And so, this is really important, guys, because our corporate media lies to you 24/7. There are Wendy's and all those different fast food restaurants in Europe where they have much higher wages and much more protection for their workers. And guess what? They still make a profit. They wouldn't be there if they didn't make a profit. They make plenty of profit in Europe. They could make plenty of profit here if we protected you guys and paid you better wages. But our government is so corrupt that they say, no, we rather have Wendy's executives and shareholders make almost all of the money and work you guys down to the bone and give you the bare minimum. Your government in a democracy is supposed to protect you. Police, fire department, but yes, also protect you against corporate abuse.
Right, but even in the case of Nordic countries, they typically don't have a federal minimum wage. Right, so the workers are represented by unions and trade unions that negotiate salaries and negotiate wages on behalf of the workers. So, and look, this isn't necessarily comments or commentary in regard to the individual governments representing these Nordic countries, but I think when you look to the federal government in the United States to do something for federal minimum wage, they fail. Time and time again, and it's because they're not pressured. Like there isn't enough organized pressure for them to get that accomplished.
100%. And look, every employee or set of employees isn't right about management. So how can you tell if you're being fair and honest? In this case, new GM comes in and she or he is so bad in 2 weeks that when that guy quit, 17 other people quit at the same time. That means, and it's not like, they're living large and they decided, well, I was a wealthy banker and I decided not to take that job. No, they're working at Wendy's. So this is subsistence living, right? So they're barely getting by. Nonetheless, 17 of them quit at once. That goes to show you it's very likely that the boss was wrong.
Right, exactly.
Right, and so we've got to do better by our workers, but our priority isn't the citizens for our government. It's the donors, and that rolls downhill, and that actually does trickle down on us. And it isn't money that trickles down; it's their disdain, it's their corruption and their oppression that trickles down on us. So when I saw that video, it was kind of almost a joyous rebellion.
Yeah, of course.
You know what it looked like to me? Freedom.
Yeah, and look, I just think that for the longest time, employers have been able to be abusive to their workers with incredibly low pay, no benefits, long hours, and they didn't have to suffer any consequences. But now, especially during a labor shortage, that's when workers have the most leverage, right? And if you're not gonna do right by your workers, of course they're gonna walk out, and that's exactly what happened here.
Yeah.
After they do the taco bar, which was fantastic.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.